Good morning, everybody. Welcome to North Country Off Grid with Chad and Shelby.
Hi.
So today we're doing a collaboration with another channel. Actually, we are doing five things that we wish we would have known when we moved off grid.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's so much fun to be able to get to know other homesteaders. So when they asked us to do this with them, I was super excited to do it. So we will link their profile in our description and they will do the same. So it will be a fun little thing where you can see two experienced off-grid homesteaders and what we wish we would have known before we had moved off-grid.
The name of their channel is A Return to Simplicity. So again, we'll put their channel in the links down below. So you guys go check out their channel also. If you're new to our channel, please subscribe.
Welcome!
Please subscribe to the channel, and then if you hit that little bell, that should be right down here. Could be over there. But hit that little bell, and I'll give you notifications when we come out with new videos. We're putting out new videos often.
Pretty often, yeah. And definitely please do all of that. Like, comment. All of those things really help us grow our channel, and we really appreciate it.
Okay, so getting down to business, we've got our 5 items. Our first item, we'll let Shelby talk about. A lot of the stuff that we learned because Shelby wanted it versus me needing it, which was kind of cool because when we moved off grid, I took just a caveman stance and I was like, we're moving to the woods and that's all I expect.
And we're going to do another video where we kind of explain why we made the decision to go off grid. But for me, I had no idea what I was getting myself in for. And honestly, I'm thankful that I didn't because I probably would have never done it. But we were just so sick of the city life. And for us, the best way to do it was just to jump into it or we would have never made a change. So with that came a lot of doing without things, which was honestly a huge blessing because it really made me realize that we could do without. And anything that I wanted or needed, there was just
a harder way.
A different way, too. I wouldn't even necessarily say always harder.
It was just a different route that we weren't used to get the end result that we needed. Whereas, you'd walk into the bathroom and you'd flip
a light on.
What's that thing called? The faucet. You'd hit the faucet or turn on the shower and then there's instant water. So we had to come up with a solution to have the same result, but it was just a different means of getting it.
Yeah, and so honestly, going from living in a city to going straight to off-grid, we were camping for a lot longer than you normally would, but it was nice to go without, and so...
Well, like 3 months.
Yeah, but it was nice to go without to realize that you really, truly didn't need it to survive. But then it was fun to be like, okay, this is what I need. So how do I figure out how to have it? And the number one thing was showers because I am a real estate agent up in North Idaho. I have to get ready. And so it's hard to look put together when you haven't taken a shower in a couple of weeks.
And I'm on the other side of that spectrum. I have nobody to impress. So until I offend myself, it's not time for a shower.
Great.
And I'm okay with doing that because I just work with me.
And me, but hey.
Well, just stand up wind.
Oh, jeez.
So
Anyway.
the first item, what we did was we had the RV that we stay in while we're building. So we would go get water, bring it to the RV, put it in the RV, and then we could take showers in there. This was a little more comfortable for everybody else. I can't stand up physically straight up in the RV. So taking a shower was even worse because it was more of a cramped space. So I enjoyed showering outside when it was nice out, warm enough to do so. I enjoyed taking my showers outside. So what I first started doing was getting a bucket and just a 5-gallon bucket of water and leaving it in the sun all day. And I'd go work. And then before the sun would go down, I would go take my shower out in the woods with the squirrels and the birds. And I liked doing that. That was great.
You were hot, and so a good cold shower at the end of the day was refreshing.
Or lukewarm.
It was still pretty cold.
It was lukewarm water. But for Shelby, that wasn't comfortable. The kids thought it was fun.
Yeah, the kids have always had a lot of fun with it.
But it was a bigger process, and so Shelby wanted more of
Because a lot of the time I can't wait till the end of the day. That doesn't work. So I need to have hot water and I need to have it on demand. And again, I'm saying need, but remember I said it's not a need, but it does make everything just more comfortable and easier.
Well, you can't take lukewarm showers in the wintertime either. So
right.
Coming into the wintertime, there needed to be a solution to that other than the trailer, or the RV. So what we came up with, Shelby actually found, so I'll let Shelby tell.
It's a little Coleman hot water heater and it's portable. So all you need is, it does need to be charged. So it has, but we only charge it like maybe once every 2 weeks, if that. Does need to be charged, and then you'd get the little propane.
The little 1 gallon bottles of propane for camping.
You can get the adapter, so then it would go onto something bigger. But it's portable and it's great because we didn't have a set shower yet. So once we have our set shower, then I'll want something that doesn't move. But until then, it is nice to take it into the shower in the trailer in case we're out of like the big propane or whatever, or if we want to take it outside, or if we need to give an animal a bath and we need it to be warm water. So I love the fact that it's portable, easy to use. You just take the little pump and dump it into a bucket of water and out comes your hot water. It was like magic.
So that's one thing we found probably...
Oh, huge.
4, 5, 6 months. Basically going into the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
When we first moved off grid, it was in the spring. And then going into the wintertime, we solved our hot water issues for showering. So,
which was huge.
What, 6 months?
Big
6,
deal.
7 months?
Mm-hmm.
So after 6, 7 months, we learned that lesson.
So you guys can move off and have it.
And it was cheap too. I think it was $100 some bucks.
Yeah, it was.
Which really is pretty cheap. It was like $150. It was a good buy. So that's number 1. Number 2 was the cooking situation. When we first moved off, we would try to cook on the fire, which was a pain in the butt.
Mainly, I would use our barbecue, which is great. I learned how to do so many things on the barbecue.
Except pizza.
No, I did good. It took some
A
trial
few of them
and
got
error.
burned. We would scrape the bottom of the
But
pizza.
it was almost like a brick pizza. It was so
It was
good.
almost like eating just the toppings off of a pizza.
Rude.
It was good. We ate it.
Honestly, it was like having a brick oven pizza once I got it right. So that was fine. But to do things like pasta or things that you really needed that direct heat to get cooking quickly, that was a challenge. So actually, my cousin came up and she bought me as a gift a camp chef, which was huge and amazing. So thank you, Jamie.
Because they came up to visit and they saw our cooking situation was ridiculous. So they went
and
out.
I had no idea.
And bought it.
No.
Yeah, we didn't know what it was until they were
No
like, hey,
clue.
check this out, guys. We use these up camping. So
Yeah.
they grabbed one and then we cooked on it all week and they said, here you go. Here's our gift to you guys. And that was huge for us. We were like, whoa.
Still huge. We still use it all the time. It's like having a propane stove outside, which is great.
Without having to get an entire stove. So it's a great alternative to figuring out where to put a big stove. Well, we move it around all the time. So if we're by the house and it's raining, we'll put it under the awning or the eave and cook. Or if we want to go out and entertain people out by the fire, we'll go out by the fire. So you can move it around, which is pretty cool for our situation out here.
Absolutely. And if we needed to bring it inside, we could, but I don't because of venting reasons. But anyways, it's a great one. So Camp Chef is huge, especially when you are the chef in the family and you need to provide meals for your family. So love, 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 love my Camp Chef.
And one thing cool about the Camp Chef too is it has tons of accessories.
Yeah.
We've got the 2-burner. You can get a 3-burner, and you can get skillets, griddle.
Yeah.
You can get all sorts of stuff. They have tons of stuff that you can get. So go check out the Camp Chef line of stuff. We're not sponsored by them.
We'd gladly take one. But for real, that was a huge one. And again, if we would have had that day one off grid, it would have made a lot of things a lot easier. So love my Camp Chef.
So learn from our mistakes and all of our pizzas.
They weren't that bad.
Go get a Camp Chef. If you're heading off, get a Camp Chef. Not that expensive either. Free for us, but not that expensive for everyone else.
They aren't. I mean, all of these things are an investment right up front, and if you're doing it how we did it, that can be a lot of money.
But if you substitute the amount of pizzas we
Oh my gosh. Anyways, we're moving on from this.
All right. So item number
These were
3.
good.
Item number 3 is lighting. When we first moved off, we did a lot of different things for lights inside of our little cabin we built. We did tap lights. Mm-hmm. You know, a little push button light. You push them and then a little dome lights up.
I have to say for a little while. So we did get those for the kiddos in the trailer because that's where we first were. And we never hooked our trailer up to the generator. So it's nice in the summertime because the sun goes down at like 9 o'clock. And so when the sun would go down, that was just our bedtime. But we did get the little push lights that the kids all had in their little bunk beds in the trailer. So if they needed light, they could get that. And then we got them their own little flashlights. And then we also got them little headlights. So if they wanted to be reading in their bunk or coloring or anything like that, they were set.
But the issue with that was batteries.
Yeah.
We would go through a ton of batteries.
They'd go really quickly.
And a lot of times the kids would fall asleep reading with the light on, and it'd be dead.
Yep.
A lot. Mm-hmm. So that was an issue for us. So we're like, man, we got to find something that's rechargeable. And again, we're off grid. So that means that we had to find something that we could plug into a solar system.
Yep.
Our little solar setup, or also a generator. So what we came up with, we actually found 2 different lights that we like quite a bit. And one is this lantern. One is this lantern right here. And this lantern is from Ozark Trail. I believe we got it at Walmart. I'm pretty sure we got it at Walmart.
Yep.
But you've got a charging port right there to charge your stuff, and then your button you just turn on, that thing lights up, and it actually lights up pretty well. It does a pretty good job of casting a large light.
And I feel like that one holds its battery. Like these all need to be charged right now, but I think the last time we even charged them was like 2 weeks ago. So we don't use them a ton, but they last for a really long time.
So they're very efficient because we can't just flip a switch on.
And then my favorite one is this orange spotlight, because when you're off grid and you live out in the middle of nowhere, you never know what you might need to spotlight in the middle of the night. So I love having this one because we can see for a long, long time with this spotlight.
So it's good for predators, it's good for lighting stuff up, and it's also good for locating our horse that breaks out and goes walking around at night.
And it's also rechargeable.
It's also rechargeable. And we got this one at Walmart also.
Yep.
Walmart doesn't sponsor us. We don't sponsor Walmart. But we got this at Walmart also, and you can find this one in the automotive section. It's not in the camping section. The ones in the camping section are more expensive, and this is actually a better light in the automotive section, cheaper. So go to the automotive section.
And then, of course, back to the basics. I love anything that we don't have to recharge, anything that we don't need any kind of electricity source for. So again, these things are great comfort, make things a little bit easier. But I love things like candles and the oil lanterns. Those things just make my heart happy, because I love at the end of the night where it's just softly lit in here and it just feels so cozy. And that just relies on oil, and one day I'd love to even figure out how we could make our own oil. So for now, those are how we light, and that was something that we kind of just figured out as we went, because again, I don't think I knew what I was in store for.
When you don't need the products, you don't know what's out there for you. So when you change your lifestyle, you have to figure out what works now in this lifestyle, because everything is sort of geared towards living on grid. Obviously, they're the products that everybody consumes. So you got to figure out what are your new line of products that are curtailed to your lifestyle.
Definitely.
So these are the things that we found out, and we went through a lot of batteries before we figured out that there's rechargeable lamps and rechargeable spotlights. So that works out great for us. Okay, moving on. So item number 4, we actually had something written down, but we're gonna go off the cuff here.
Oh, what are we gonna do?
We forgot about this. Our solar panel setup.
Oh, that's fun.
Our solar panel setup, our inverter, and our battery that we bought them at Harbor Freight. They're the cheap ones at Harbor Freight, and generally, I think like most people, Harbor Freight stuff is junk and you stay away from it. But I've got to say,
obviously we're not sponsored by them either,
and probably won't be from this point on.
Dang it.
With that being said, I've got Harbor Freight tools that I put to the test, and they've done pretty good. I've also returned stuff right away. I've also gotten stuff with other people's initials on it. What is that about, Harbor Freight? So we went and got their just basic little solar panel. I think it was for an RV.
Well, and I have to say, it definitely wasn't a we thing. Like, I went out and did all this.
Okay, Shelby did it all. So here's the problem, is when we first moved off grid, we were like, how do we charge our stuff? I don't think we had a generator yet.
No.
We didn't have a generator yet. So what we did was, what Shelby did was, is she would go and charge from her car, and she would plug it into the battery, but leave it without running her vehicle. She just didn't realize that you can't do that. And so she would slowly drain off her battery. We'd go to start it, and a lot of times it would die. And then we would jump it, and it would go. But she would continue to do it because I fixed the problem and got her car started. But eventually, she drained her battery so bad that we had to go buy a new battery. There was no jumping it, charging it, nothing.
And to change that battery?
The car that she had was, the battery was located under the wheel well. It took me 2 hours to get the battery out.
It was scary. I just stayed away
because
from it.
you have to, it's under the wheel. You're supposed to take the wheel off and then take the skirt off under the fender well. I didn't do it. I cranked the wheel to one side. I pulled off all the skirting, reached up in there, could barely get my hands in. It's the dumbest design anyone's ever come up with. Why don't you stick it in the gas tank next time?
It was super frustrating, and I learned
2 hours to change out a battery. It was ridiculous.
I learned I didn't want to deal with that situation again. So
I was upset.
I was at actually Costco, and they had the Zero Gear, I believe is what it's called. And it was just this little box, and it had a place where you could plug things in. And I was like, whoa, wait, what is this stuff? And I looked at the price tag, and it was like $800, like extremely expensive. And I was like talking to the girl and explaining that we live off grid, and all I really wanted was a way to charge my phone and a way to plug in a curling iron. And she was like, have you ever heard of this? And so I really didn't know anything about solar. So I started researching it and looking into it. And
I believe it was an inverter is what you were talking about.
Yeah, so I just went and I got a solar panel, and then I got a battery, and then I got a converter. So Inverter. So all of those three things allowed me to use the sun every single day. So I didn't have to pay for propane or gas or anything like that. It's something that God provides us with daily, most days. And so I did that, and then I was able to charge things. So that was a huge, exciting win for us because we just didn't know. And I didn't know about YouTube. I didn't know about this huge community out there of other people that do similar things that can tell you how to do things without failing a bunch of times.
Shelby thought YouTube was just like kids who are like doing crazy stuff and getting hurt, and then they post their videos. She had no idea. Like, I would watch YouTube, and she just had no idea what I was doing.
Clue.
I guess she thought I was watching a bunch of kids try to kill themselves.
Yeah, but, did.
Literally, until we got a YouTube channel, she had no idea what YouTube was. And so I'm showing him, like, babe, look at this guy. Look at these
thought
people.
We were
Watch
like the
this
only
family.
people in the world doing this.
No, there's other weirdos out there also
but
trying
I
to live
love
off grid.
It's so fun to be able to learn from each other, grow from each other, encourage each other, just because it's a different way of life, and you often get looked at cross-eyed. So to have other people that understand what you've gone through, what you're going through, it's a pretty exciting thing. So hi.
Welcome to YouTube. So with that being said, the charging the phones off of that solar panel, it was cheap and very efficient for us. You would just put it out there, plug in our phones, and it would charge our phones. So the problem was we wanted to charge our phones. The solution was we got a little solar package, and it wasn't that expensive. And the alternative for us, we're like, well, we can provide an entire solar system for the house, or we can just do this, which solves this problem for us.
Yeah,
so
we
that
can
worked out
slowly
great.
start growing it, because I did get a quote right away of having our whole house be run off of solar, but and it was a huge number. So I didn't really realize at that point too that I could slowly start doing it and I could grow from there. So
if you're looking to go off grid and you're looking at solar, don't get discouraged by a giant number for a solar package. You can start small and work up, or you can start small and stay small. You know, we haven't upgraded to a solar package for our house because we haven't needed to. We've figured out how to make everything work without a $10,000 solar system.
Right.
Which would be nice to have. So
I think that kind of leads into what our fifth and final wish we would have known going off grid, which is I wish we would have done it sooner.
Concurred. After going out and doing it, you know, it's a huge leap. It's this idea, this sort of romantic notion you have to go live in the wild and to go live off grid and to leave everything behind. And it's a big leap. So it's one thing to have the idea. It's another thing to do it. With us, we jumped right into it. We dove right into it and we said we're going to do it. I knew we weren't going to die. I'd had enough experience in the woods and being in the wild. I knew my family wasn't going to die. We were just going to have to figure out how to do everything we needed to do.
And
so
I
we
knew
changed
that
stuff.
Chad had worked in construction for years, so I knew that he had the ability to build us a beautiful house, and we would only be paying for the cost of it. So definitely, again, didn't know exactly what I was getting into, but now that I've done it, now that I am who I am, our kids are better off for it. Our marriage is better off for it. We're better people because of it. It's
really good for our family bond for a couple reasons. For one, we don't have TV. So we're not, at the end of the night, Shelby and I aren't sitting down and watching, you know, our show and then telling the kids to go watch their shows, or, you know, we're not dividing that family, which we used to do. We used to be like, okay, now it's mom and dad time. You guys run away. We're going to watch this or whatever. And we just started to dislike that. We felt that it wasn't bringing us together, and we were wasting a lot of our time watching other things happen. Magical people in the TV jump around and entertain us. And it wasn't something that was making us happy. So being out here, having no TV, we interact all day long together, doing stuff, working together. So that brings our family bond real tight. As far as Shelby and I go, we really have to rely on each other out here and work together. And so every day is basically like a building class of our life. We need to learn to work together and do stuff. So we get problems, we tackle them together. We're building our relationship and being a great team. And then also we're just being better parents to our kids. Which we wanted to be. It's a big goal of ours to raise some upstanding citizens.
It really is. And also, as a mama and a wife, I want to be able to feed my family in a nutritious way. And sometimes when you're left with the grocery store being your only source of doing that, it can be a little bit scary what you're feeding your family. So for me, I really wanted to be able to know where my food was coming from, be able to teach our children where their food comes from. So I am in no way, shape, or form great at doing this, but having a big functioning garden is a huge goal of mine, and I'm going to spend a lot of time on doing that this year.
We're actually not great at it. We actually have essentially failed at the gardens that we've done, but we've learned from it. So the last 2 years have not been a success in eating the food that we've created, but we've learned a lot.
Not in the garden. We have done our own pigs, and we have been extremely successful with our pigs.
Yeah.
So we
all of our animals, really.
Yeah, so we have a lot more growing to do, which is exciting. And that will be a huge focus for this year. So that's another great thing. I'm excited. I love living off grid. It's been a lot of fun for us. I love being able to really take the time to teach my babies a simpler way of life and a lot of basic skills that are going to take them really far in life.
And also with moving off grid, you have less constraints from living in town. You know, we don't pay an electric bill, we don't pay a water bill, we don't pay a mortgage. those are 3 huge bills that a lot of people essentially are slave to. And I know that a lot of people don't want to be, and they want to get away from it. We talk to people all the time who like what we do and want to do it and just don't know how to do it. But we're going to talk about that more on another video. But basically, the freedom that we have felt since we've moved off grid is so unbelievable that, and I think that it's more like I didn't realize we would feel this way moving off grid. We would not feel that sense of freedom.
Yeah.
And I got to say that if you're stuck paying bills and you're stuck going to a job that you hate, you know, at least 40 hours a week, and if you calculate your travel time and all your other time that you're dealing with, you're probably doing it close to 50 hours a week. Imagine applying that 50 hours to your farm and your family, because I can tell you that we've gotten so much done since I've been able to apply my hours to our family with the help of Shelby too. We've done more for our family than we would have in 30 years, which we're going to talk about that too, because that's another video that we were just talking about.
So we totally understand that our lifestyle is different, and the way we did it was...
Not if it's 1802. It's the standard.
And we understand the way that we did it may not be the way that you guys want to do it. And you don't have to fit into this little box and do everything the exact way that we do. We support any changes that you guys want to make, and anything that we can encourage you guys to do to live whatever your happiest life is. We're happy to do it. So we appreciate you guys following along. Those are our 5 things. Gosh, I wish I would have known them when we had first moved off grid.
I've got 2 more honorable mentions I want to bring up. They're things that we kind of figured out afterwards, but you get them, okay? Number 1, headlamp. You will be running around with a headlamp on all the time when you first move off grid until you're completely set up and you've got everything the way you want. A headlamp is awesome. If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night out in the woods, you know it's black. There's nothing. And when you're digging around for a light, you might know where the light switch is at on the wall, but you don't know where the kids put the flashlight last. And so you're digging around. Get a headlight. That's 1. Number 2 is a Yeti coffee cup. Yeti coffee cups. Okay. Also not sponsored by Yeti.
Would
Yeti
gladly take one.
We'll take a sponsorship. If not, we're still buying your stuff. But Yeti makes unbelievable coffee cups. Shelby made me a cup of coffee, sold me on it because I put it down going to the kids' soccer game, came back an hour later and burned my face off.
I was like, oh, careful, it's still going to be hot. And he thought I was joking.
I burned my face off, but at the same time, I was so happy because I'm like, oh, I just found the best cup in the world. And there's many times that you will take your coffee cup out to go do your daily chores, set it down, walk away, come back, and be like, dang it, and take cold coffee drinks, and you still drink it. You'll set this down for an hour outside, it'll still be piping hot. Yeti coffee cups.
Cheers, darling.
Good job, Yeti. So, guys, that's our 5 things that we wish we would have known. Hopefully this helps you out. If you're thinking about going off grid, write these down. They'll probably help you. If you're thinking about starting a homestead, hopefully this stuff helps you. If it does help you, or if you did something similar, or if you have a suggestion, let us know in the comments.
Please.
Scroll down, comment, tell us what you guys did. Or if you like this, share it with someone.
Please do. We appreciate all of that so very much. Hope you guys found it helpful. And again, look for those other videos. We've got a couple other discussions that we're going to really go into detail about why we went off grid and all of those fun things. So this was fun. Thanks for asking us to do it. A return to simplicity. We're excited to see what your 5 things are, because maybe it will be 5 that we just don't even know about yet. Or they could be the same.
What if they're exactly the same? Everyone just has the same struggles. They're over there like, yo, Yeti coffee cups. Look, us too. Yeti coffee
I love
cups.
it. I think it's a lot of fun to do that. So excited to see your guys' video. Thanks for asking us, and we will see you guys soon.
See you guys.
Bye from North Country Off Grid.